Horizon Zero Dawn, the upcoming third-person shooter role-playing game that is being developed by Guerilla Games, the same people behind the Killzone series, and many more. It is also being published by Sony Interactive. Now, after recently being revealed with some stunning gameplay and graphics at E3, there's a lot to know about the upcoming title. Now, some of you may know a lot, and some of you may not. So we're here to cover it all, as what we currently know now is not a whole lot of information, and if you do know some more information, then please share it in the comments, as I'm sure there'll be a lot of people clawing for more information on this wonderful PlayStation 4 exclusive that is releasing on February 28th of 2017. Now, with all that being said, here's everything you should know about Horizon Zero Dawn. The setting of Horizon is surely in a post-apocalyptic world, yet we see Guerilla Games distinctively being able to tie in robotic dinosaurs with the game being 1,000 years in the future. The aesthetically pleasing world sets itself apart from the typical and rather saturated dreary and gloom type feeling in most post-apocalyptic world games. Now, this title has garnered a lot of positive coverage, and rightly so. It seems to intrigue the player with wonderful gameplay elements as well as being top-notch for the graphics. Hopefully they can deliver what they are showing us and don't pull an Ubisoft on us. Horizon seems to play somewhat uniquely in the way they let players develop, really idolizing strategically defeating animals with a large arsenal of weapons. Now, those weapons won't come easy, and it is by crafting that the players will be making their weapons, gathering parts from the enemies that the player defeats. It is actually a little bit more complicated and more detailed than you would actually think, due to a number of factors that go into how one's loot is specified. Now, there are things such as weapon choice, where you damage the enemy, and a lot more. It is actually a rather interesting feature and seems like it will create for a more interesting farming when players are in need of materials for crafting new weapons. While a lot of people are still wondering where Horizon fits in genre-wise, Guerilla Games have come out to answer that while it is a game that is filled with in-depth RPG mechanics, it will meet halfway to be action-packed, saying it's somewhere in between the likes of Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed. This sounds quite interesting, and from the gameplay that we have seen, it looks like they are completely smack on with it with that description. It will feature a perk system, crafting, and a leveling system, linking it to probably end up being put into the RPG genre, but still having those action-packed features. Because the game is featuring many RPG elements and features, one of those is a questing system. Now, the game is an open world free to explore, so a questing system sounds like it will do nicely like we have seen in most large open world games, and with the action-packed combat, choosing from different weapons on the fly to tackle down strong and unique enemies, it will be nice to see how they will tie in the questing system. Currently, we don't have a whole lot of information on the system for quests, yet we can hope Guerilla Games produces an intriguing storyline to go along with the questing in the game. Guerilla Games, the company that is behind Horizon, has a long history of creating shooters, which typically you see have a large focus on multiplayer, as there are a lot of fun competing against others in a player versus player mode. Guerilla Games have come out and said that there will be no multiplayer mode for Horizon, this making it more focused for the development on their story and gameplay, and not so that they're focusing on balancing issues and such. Of course, this isn't anything new, but it makes a lot of RPG fans happy to see rather a more fleshed out storyline than having a multiplayer. You know, we see Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Witcher. These titles have become some of the best games ever due to their amazing single player experience and have no need for a multiplayer feature to ever be implemented into the game. Although in the footage that we have seen, we were only shortly shown the robotic dinosaurs in combat, but we do know that there will be a large variety of enemies. Along with that, they're going to have some different unique weaknesses and strengths. Now, defeating these enemies will take strategy and much more than just simply shooting them in the head, and identifying them is actually a very interesting feature that we can wait to try out. Like we have mentioned before, the loot will differ from enemy along with some other factors that go along with it. Horizon is going to feature a full day and night cycle along with dynamic weather that is throughout the entire game world. Static weather environments present a rather bland feeling for games, especially like large open world RPGs such as Horizon. Now, the day and night cycle might be a mechanic that requires a little bit more skill than you would think, because it could possibly be with this feature that the enemies might become harder at nighttime, or they might fight differently than they do during the day. We do know that the stealth feature that we have seen is a major focus for Horizon, so it will be interesting to see how that will be implemented along with the day and night cycles. As Horizon is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and with the console allowing for 1080p, the game will be in 1080p, as well as it's going to constantly be at 30 FPS. Now, unfortunately, it does not support the full possible 60 FPS, but clearly the engine runs nicely with the game. Horizon's engine is the same that is used in Shadowfall, one of Guerilla Games' other titles, yet with large and vast draw distances, making it truly a gorgeous environment that is fully destructible. So you need some help? Well, you won't get much. Horizon will not have any tutorials. Pretty much they throw you out into the world to learn the ins and outs of your enemies and all the features that they give you. Now I kind of like this, and I'm sure many do, but it's kind of depending. Most of us usually just end up skipping the tutorials, but we don't know for sure if it will be good or bad, depending on the difficulty of locating all the features that the game is coming with. Hopefully they don't make it too hard on the players to the point of turning some people off. Earlier we mentioned and briefly got into the combat of the game, except there's actually more than just knowing what weapon selection to use. The combat will include that of mounted combat and acknowledging the game environment, allowing players to really use the destructibility of their surroundings to take down their enemies. Now, as we also mentioned about the stealth ability, there will be silent takedowns in the game, something that we see in action games such as Assassin's Creed. Now, you will also have to utilize your secondary weapons such as tripwire for strategic play, as well as scouting out areas, as enemies do attract other enemies pretty easily due to them allowing them to alert the surrounding AI. All in all, the combat will be massive, taking in tons of different features, weapons, and armor, so choosing what you want to do and the way you want to do it to take down your enemies will be left open for the player. That is going to do it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to in the upcoming title of Horizon Zero Dawn. That is everything you need to know as of right now, pre-release. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.